Okay, so we are day before James and Ilona head out to Taiwan for the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team, representing the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team for the Tai Chi World Cup. And that's going to be October 28th and 29th, 2023. So we're talking about warming up. And I think one of the best things to, here are just some general warm-ups. Like, can I just use 1 second real quick? Can you just push my shoulders and hips? So one thing, if you have partners, you guys have probably done this before with Grandmaster Chen, but pushing shoulder and then pushing other hip and then pushing the other hip and then pushing the other shoulder and just softening up like that. That's a great way. And this helps to loosen up while you're waiting on the sidelines. And you can just do shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip. And then you can do it back to your partner, shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip. And you're just softening up, shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, shoulder, hip, hip. And you want to really make sure that you bend with it, and not bend too. Thank you, not too much, but enough to, yeah. Those kind of movements. Let me see if you guys can see. Those kind of movements are really, really valuable, really, really valuable. And making sure that you keep all your principles while you're doing this. So you have 70% of the weight on the front leg. And that means that when you take that push, you're pushing the nail of the, you have the nail of the coming out of the big toe, nail of the ball of the foot and the heel, pushing the ball of the foot and the heel into the ground as you're taking the push. So Ilona, if you find that when you take that front push, and that front knee like swivels, like it just did, like really make sure like that you find the spiral into the back leg, but that you don't give up that 70% of the weight. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just finding the rhythm, 2, 3, 4. And then going to on your partner. And you really want to soften, melt away. 3, 4. And James, keep the ball of the foot and the big toe, the front leg nailed into the ground. Because the second you give up those nails, that's space, that's valuable space. So you're James, keep more of your hip on the front leg, 70% of that hip weight on that front leg. 1, yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, and do your best to make sure exactly. Yeah, you feel way more martial, James. That's great because you're claiming your space. And one of the ways to test yourself if you're claiming space is your nose line. And like that's an overt way, like your nose is staying in great space over there, James. That's an overt way to test claiming space. But the reality of claiming space is that it's your entire center line and it's your presence. So like, the nose is integrated onto your center line, toe, knee, nose alignment, flexible hips. It's
Understand? I think you.
Yeah. Yeah, and start out slow, because what you're really doing is you're really just you want to feel like butter. Both of you want to help each other feel like butter. Good stuff. Another few exercises, warm-up exercises you can do, I think are really valuable. Like the arm drag in the air, which looks like rolling uppercuts. You know, when you roll the uppercuts, you're rolling the shoulders like pistons and the hips, and it's going up to the nose line, so it's nose level. So you're rolling the uppercuts, but then you're adapting that to arm drags. So instead of rolling uppercuts, you're flicking one hand, other one comes up, flick up, flick up. So you're just doing this, flick down, up, boom, boom, flick up, flick up, and the flick's coming, boom. So just having that little warm up here, flicking up, and this will help you the second you get into your, and remember that the flick, if you keep that concept of from the rolling uppercuts, meaning the concept of touching the nose line with your personal geometry, the line coming out of your nose forward and touching that with the knuckles. If you keep that, and then instead of the knuckles, put the fingers on that line and you're flicking that line downward. So you flick the line and then you come up to the shoulder, where the shoulder and that line meet. So here, nose line, shoulder level right here. So flick and then I come across. Boom, boom. Nose line, shoulder level, come here, boom. So I flick the line, and it's the same concept of someone putting their hand on your shoulder and you're flicking the hand out. Or you have your starting position and you pop the hand out, etc. So again, this is just you standing in a corner, and you can always switch your hands too, switching the hands to the other side, switch the legs, and all of these things help you warm up. And of course, being able to do something like feet shoulder width apart parallel, and this is called the bear. That's the you know how it's one of the first qigong exercises I learned from Wu style, and just being able to inhale up, exhale, and sink your weight, soften the hip, and create this little gentle shield on the side. This is a great standing warm-up exercise. It keeps you aligned. And if you look at any of the behind-the-scenes videos from the 04 World Cup, you'll see me and Dad doing this on the sidelines a lot. Just waiting, watching tournaments, watching the teammates. Inhaling up, exhaling, and I'm just shifting to one side and melting the hip away. But you guys know a lot of qigong and neigong, so I think that's really more so like what other, you know, if you need to get a big sweat, Shaolin kicks are a really great way to get a big sweat. So like a big sweat fast. So you know, if you have side jiao, like the 5 basic Shaolin kicks, obviously they're not something that you're going to be doing in the tournament itself, but side jiao just has all your weight on one leg, the other leg is pointed with the toe down, and you have your hands in chamber, and you're just inhaling into the lower dantian, seeing the breath. I use a lot of color visualization, so when you exhale, you're pushing through the leg and the hand. So you exhale, touch, and bring back. Exhale, then inhale, bring it back. And just doing those types of like basic Shaolin kicks to warm up the body are really, really great. And you know, picking 10 on each side, etc. If you're looking to get a faster warm up, and to just, you know, in between you know, rounds, etc. If you want to just say, hey, you know what, I want to do like 5 of these kicks, and then go back to your, you know, qigong or the other exercises. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's great. Squats and kicks. Those are all fantastic. So
Okay.
how are you feeling with technique wise, and you know, just how are you feeling in general? Like, are there any other thoughts, ideas, questions, the things that you're concerned about?
No, I think yeah, I can't think of anything. I want to recover. I've got this incredibly large bruise I'll show you.
No.
right here. This one, I thought it was an Indian bird, but so I kept going, but
Oh, it's
now
from
I'm just-
arm drags, right?
What's that?
Is that from arm drags?
Yeah, I guess so. Ilona, I don't know what she's doing to me. Yes, yeah, arm drags. Ilona's arm drags when we're playing hard.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's
The
from a
arm
week-
drag bruise.
we were playing with your dad. I said, "Oh, it's just Indian burn." But then next day I could see it was more than Indian burn. So, but it's even a week later, like I really need to stay off it to get it ready for tournament day in a week. So I don't exacerbate that one spot, but it's very superficial. Not going to be a problem. I just have to tell people to lay off it tomorrow.
So how are you feeling with your top 5 moves and the strategies to get to them?
Let's run through them, Ilona.
Do you think yours are different than mine? Because
For
that's what
fixed
we've
step.
been focusing on. So maybe you want to focus on yours today.
Okay, what are your top 5 fixed step?
I might have changed the list since last time, but I've got 2 arm drags. So I've got your regular arm drag, of course. I like it reversed too. And then so that's 2
3.
different arm drags.
It's
Alright. That's 3. And then if the arm drag doesn't go through, I've got you on the outside here. I've got shoulder blast.
yeah, shoulder blast.
Loving that. We
You just said if the arm drag doesn't go through, so that means that you have a strategy for if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just mean like as a combination. It's like, oh, I went for the arm drag. Oh,
My hand got
actually,
stuck out here instead of across.
it's a shoulder
I see
blast.
if she doesn't get my arm across, and I'm able to get purchase here, then
Okay.
she blasts my arm. That easy, baby.
Sorry. Okay. Off the front leg, which is a little different, but
Yeah, the front leg is a yeah.
Pummeling, yeah.
Okay.
So
So remember
what I
from the
would
other
say
one you
is
have the
sometimes I
javelin.
do have this problem, like he blocks my reverse arm drag here.
Okay.
So this is also, I've got 2 hands on one arm, but I've got a nice.
Awesome.
Okay, this is another one I'm
Well, it
working
just
on.
warmed up. Okay. Okay.
It's going over the back foot this way on this line, like we used to do in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
If her feet are in one line, I'm trying to get her over her back foot.
Nice. Okay.
And I think my number 1 move is just bam, like that. I don't know if that's a drill. But
Well,
this is-
yeah, it's one of the first drills we do. And you're saying that pushing up to the corner, the 45, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we go, the number 1 thing that I get people with is just bam, is faster than they can go. That's my fastest hands move. And I used to have a better arm drag. I think it's just she's gotten used to my arm drag, so I can't drill them, in practice. I can only drill them. I can't get them in practice with her too much. Like as soon as I get into this arm drag territory, she's got all these amazing new moves that I've never seen before. That she can, as we transition into these things. No, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to try to arm drag her. So I push down, but she's got her elbow tucked in. Okay, ready? So I'm pushing. Okay, so now I'm going to get the arm drag. Don't stop. Okay, ready? So I'm here, but then if she stops, now you can stop me. Okay, now play from here. But she gets into these, just weird
Right.
stuff. Like, she can go like this, like that.
I know what you're talking about now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but she can go,
Or I
she can go
reversed-
all the way around, like all these extreme positions.
A few times now I've reversed your arm drag, so you're pulling me. So you do your
Butterfly
arm.
line is the top
He's pulling me, right?
American.
And then I just pull. I let him
Yeah,
pull
look,
me
like this.
like that.
It's amazing. And can you do your thing where you go between your feet and you lie down and you stand up again? No, just,
Oh, out of context? You're just
why?
talking about
Look at
this?
this. Check this out.
Okay. So
Okay,
he
nice.
thinks
Well, let's there are great moments where you can throw somebody with those types of drops, like Tui Xiao Chen, and I've gotten it once as well, where you drop it to a pistol and throw the opponent over. So know that binding mechanic, with that, I'll just show it.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that just keep in mind that it's very that it's part of the game, and it's actually like a more athletic thing to do, to be able to take someone's arm. You're trying to arm drag them, and instead you're probably going to get, instead of the arm drag, you're probably going to get a needle at the bottom of the C. You know what I'm talking about? Needle at the bottom of the C. It's done multiple ways, but you can, if you drop into a pistol on the needle at the bottom of the C, and essentially you're taking the wrist, one hand on the wrist, and you have the static hold, which the static hold is essentially like you're energizing just the fingertips and you're holding the position. So you're not grabbing at all, but you have the downward position here. And then you have the other hand lifting the tricep or shoulder, more than like exactly the outside arm. Then if you drop into a pistol and use the weight of you dropping into the pistol and their arm as a counterbalance, they'll go over the body, back. So that's a really cool, higher level, more athletic way to do needle at the bottom of the C live. And it definitely works. Like I said, I've gotten it a few times. Tuisho's gotten it in competitions. I've gotten it more so in practice, and like not because I was trying to, just because it came. And so I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is keep it in mind that that's something that you can do, because then you will do it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the thing for me, I'm noticing in reviewing the tapes is that I'm coming up too much, and I'm getting better at it after reviewing the tapes and practicing, is just to keep every time that I possibly can get my tailbone closer to the ground and not let it end up here. And I throw my technique and stop. I throw my technique if I have to come up, but then get back down, into the crouch as soon as possible. Any way I can. That seems to be the an improvement that I'm getting from reviewing the tapes.
Awesome. So, question: you said the push is your one of your the standard push is one of your main strategies. I just want to make a note of making sure that you feel the difference between the way you fired it here, like quickly, you did a slight drop and you fired up, versus a deeper drop and a fire up, and just knowing that those variations for yourself are just different ways to accomplish the same goal, and that the deeper drop is going to have a psychological effect on the opponent that's different than the smaller drop. They're both effects on the opponent, but just you being able to gauge, because remember we were talking about do one move, do it again, then switch the move in the opposite direction, and then do the first move again, and then hit them with a completely new angle. So that strategy of like the 1-1-2-1-3, those are three different moves, but you can apply that to any strategy, including like just dropping the hip, hardly dropping the hip at all, doing the push. So you fire and go, just a blast, and then a drop fire, and then a deeper drop fire. It's just however you want to play with it, but making sure that you that you're super aware of that you're doing the different version.
Cool.
So that you can strategize around that.
Cool. Can I ask you a non-training note question, just real quick?
Sure.
We're thinking a lot about getting her an agent, and I didn't know. Just mark that out. Later we could talk about it, but I just wanted to introduce that idea so we can talk about it later.
Well, I want to give a shout out to my Tai Chi agent on here who told me to do things a little bit differently today, but I'm not actually doing that as much as I want to. I will do it on Monday.
I want your advice.
So our final training. So Diane, if you're on there, we're gonna start talking, and everyone who's on there on TikTok. I'm also live on TikTok, everybody. So shout out to James and Ilona. But on Monday, we're gonna start doing more of the conversational training story. I'll be telling you guys a story from training, doing a technique from that story, and then doing a Q&A. So Diana came up with that yesterday. It's gonna be great. We're gonna do that on Monday. But right now we're working with James and Ilona. So I love you guys. Anyway, back to it. The short answer is yes. Okay. But yeah, so let's make sure that we have more of like what else are you
Okay.
guys thinking
I'll show you
of
some exercises
prior?
we're doing. One drill that we're doing is,
Okay.
do you want to go? You go ahead if you want.
Jan, I had a question. What was
Sure.
your question? Was our fixed step moves?
My question is just making sure that anything that you guys have in mind that you would like to talk about, work on, etc., that we do it now, so that because tomorrow you should, if you're going to get on a plane, you have to have much lighter training. So if you're going to do anything like harder, and it shouldn't be too hard, but like anything that's more like vigorous, I really recommend more of that today than tomorrow.
Yeah, so we got
I wanna
Saturday,
drill
we're
the
going,
last two
tomorrow we're
moves
gonna
if
go
you
to the,
can.
we're
Are you
going,
ready to drill the last two moves?
I just want to, one thing before I'll get to Ilona in one moment. Tomorrow we go to mat time, we go back to the city tomorrow, and then Monday night.
No, we leave at 1 a.m. on Monday.
Oh,
It's
good.
very-
I'm glad we got this straight, because I was completely wrong, and we're leaving 24 hours earlier than I thought. I just found out.
Yeah. That's why I was concerned. I'm like, you guys are getting on the plane to Taiwan like at 1 a.m. Monday. So if you train tomorrow at the gym, you're going to Sifu Ross's gym, right? At 1,
Yeah.
2, something like that. So like just I would do super light drilling, super light rolling, like falling on the ground, break falls, like really soak up those mats. And
Okay.
and stretch. You know how we used to do fall on the ground and just kind of make the ground part of our body, kind of thing. I would really focus a lot on that, so that you just get that nice stretch slash massage from those mats. Like really give yourself a nice like self massage via rolling on those mats tomorrow.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah, I've been doing foam roller, rolling on the balls, doing my Alexander. Oh my God, it feels so good. I'm feeling things I've never felt before. Like this has been real peak experience. Just this last couple.
So tell me more about strategy, or what do you how are you feeling getting to your moves? Like we just talked about, I think we showed 4 or 3 of the of your moves. You did 2 different arm drags, you did a shoulder blast. How are you feeling with your other 2 top 5 fixed step moves?
Okay, well, I've got two exercises that we're doing. I'll understand that.
Is this will I get to do my last moves or no?
If anyone has any questions too, feel free to ask them before they head out to Taiwan.
One is like this. I'm pushing her.
This is not
One.
what I asked you.
This is one drill we're doing just to see, I push her farther. And the other one is,
And we can do that running, like when we have the long space.
yeah, and then, one is just blasting and the other's running.
I'm not sure.
And then, that's why I can't get sleep. This really affects their team. Okay, and then this is the other one, is just carrying her around, and now carrying your dad too. So I'm just saying the 2 exercises, drills that we're doing.
Okay, but the carrying is not really because you're not going to do a body lock in the fixed step or moving step.
Yeah, it's just like pressurizing me, so where I start seeing the spots, that I need that pressurization, that
Okay.
strength. Yeah, I just wanted to say those are 2 exercises that we're doing.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I just want to make sure that you feel like as much of a technician as possible.
Remember William.
Per technique, and a tactician like strategically, and so like if there's anything you want to touch on.
Yeah, Ilona wants to say something.
I was just gonna finish review. So we added back in I Need Your Body, the bear. Can you review with me the best way to drill this one lightly, because I'm finally getting it in live play, which is exciting.
Awesome.
I'm also finding that I'm either
The bear.
going for a log first, and then if I don't feel the log, then I can get the bear. So I'm feeling a good setup, because I can test, okay, are they going sideways across the shoulders? oh, he's not going sideways, then he adjusts to come towards me. So, I'm trying to do this as a drill so it can be gentle. That's the hard part about this one, is it can be a little bit of a wrench. So this time, how would you react if I'm gonna do like push you that way? Is that gonna help me get into that?
Good, yeah.
Make sense? Okay. So I think that's a little different than how you showed Bear the first. That was like our
Sure.
first session. So if you
Sure.
have ideas on that one, I feel like I'm making a breakthrough with it, but
Sure. I'd say the first thing is that you want to practice this, and I'll show it right now, as like practice Neigong exercises or Qigong exercises that give the mechanic of the drop. Because the thing that really works on the bear, or the makes it really powerful, is the hip dropping as if you cut the wire for an elevator. So it's an elevator drop of the hip, and it's sudden, and it's only to a specific distance that makes sense for the opponent that you're on. So if you're doing a drop like this first to get the opponent to react, and then you're turning, so it's a 1-2 drop turn, because you're not pulling them into you, you're dropping your hips down, they're falling into you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the difference between I'm not pulling in, I'm dropping and then turning them, but they fall in and I turn the fall downward. So
right.
so that they're making those clear distinctions is important. And to practice the elevator hip, the hip drop like an elevator, Neigong exercises such a, I mean, you can literally just do that. Dad has been really amazing with this. He'll take all the push hands moves and he'll just turn them into Neigong exercises himself. And then he'll be able to execute them that much more precisely, which is amazing. So I think you can take the bear and you can inhale deep, exhale down, exhale even deeper. So 2-stage exhalation, inhale up, exhale down, exhale even deeper. And remembering that when you exhale even deeper and you do the turn, the one hand, the outside hand, is the sticky hand, the inside hand is the pushing hand. So your exhale drop, both hands are like, they're like vines, and you're swinging on the opponent by the nature of the drop. So the arms should feel like they're ropes connected to the opponent. You drop. And then 2, exhaling, my outside hand is sticking to the shoulder. My inside hand is pushing the shoulder over and turning. Inhaling back up. And just practicing that. And remember the 2-stage exhalation. So inhaling up, exhale stage 1, exhale deeper stage 2. Drawing the color into the lower down chin, exhale, drop down 1, exhale 2. And even those subtle, remember all the small circles you add together add to the centrifugal force. So when you have the hands up and you exhale and you soften the elbows, that little circle spiraling the elbows down so that the forearms become like number 11s. That little circle is going to add to the spiral, and it's going to bring them forward. So you're going to exhale, drop down, and exhale. So you just being aware of all these little mechanical adjustments and then switching your legs. And you can switch legs and you can keep it on the same side if you want. That does work sometimes. I think Dad is actually probably way better at that than I am. I find that it only really works for me on the outside leg, meaning that my left leg is forward. I dump them outside the left leg because their right leg is more than likely forward.
Yeah.
But it can work sometimes to get them, going towards your inside rather than your outside. But that also can, that might even be more of a moving step. But to keep it simple, left leg forward or whatever leg is forward, go to the outside. Inhaling up. Exhale, drop the elbows down. Exhale even deeper too. Inhaling back up. Exhale down. Exhale even deeper too. So I really recommend taking any of the moves that you're, especially this week, and turning them into, slow breath work, visualization drills where you can really focus on the biomechanic of how you time your breathing, how your breathing catalyzes a chain reaction in the body. And also just the visualization.
I'm kind of working on something else now. Sorry. We talked a lot about like, oh, there's so many different ways to do a crank. It's all a crank. But so the one that I feel most comfortable is going over his front leg. But if I go the other way, there's that pull down on, sorry, I don't know if you can see, but
I can see.
down on this side, and this one's going that way, right? So I'm trying to go through the shoulders like that.
Go for it again.
There's the lift up, then change down. Does that feel clear?
Lift up and change down.
So I was thinking, oh, I'm not adding that drop to this one.
Yeah.
I can. I mean, I have before, but I wasn't thinking of it that way. So when we were working on the last move, light bulb went off. I'm thinking, oh, when I lift up, I'm actually dropping down, right? I root up.
I'm not sure what you meant by the last comment. When you lift up, you're dropping down. That's what you said?
Right, because I'm thinking of trying to lift his shoulder so that it's prepping him, but I'm lifting myself. That's the problem I'm getting into with setting up my crank, is I'm thinking of lifting him, so I'm lifting myself. Instead, I need to drop down.
Yeah. Like
I think
down,
it creates
elbows
the
up.
hole for him
Elbow
to
down,
fall
elbows up.
into.
so. I think it's super important with moves like this to remember that you have to try for your own and I'll show you what I mean. You have to experiment with different combinations of mechanics in your body. So if you're saying you're doing the William C.C. Chen style, drop down and come up for the hip and then turn, that's awesome, but you have to practice that enough to actually make sure it works live, because otherwise it's theoretical. And the one thing I'm noticing in what you're doing right now, so what I'm saying is that theory, until you apply it and make it work for you, that's when it's really valuable. That's when it's repeatable and competition worthy. Otherwise, like it's a lot of the theory. So here I'm noticing that you're going up, which is fine in my experience. Lifting my hip with my arm is actually the thing I do. And then when I turn and I melt the hip away. That's what I wasn't seeing with you, is that you weren't melting the let's actually say we're going the other way, coming up. So this hip is going to disappear because that creates the hole that the opponent goes into. So you're cranking them down into the hole. So the spine stays straight, but because the hip is disappearing, the angle of the spine is changing. So you're keeping that straightness, it's room, and they suck into that hole. So I think it's super important for you to have that sense of, as you drop the hip for this side. Again, this is only one variation of crank, but it has worked and it's been tested, and that's why I'm sharing it.
No, thank you for watching your ending position on that. Is really clear.
And there's an exercise you can do too for it, to train that exact end position. So we can do that right now,
Sure.
which is, I think we've done it before, but holding up, exhale,
Yeah.
inhaling up. So we did the crank Nagel, inhaling up, and you're inflating the arms. Exhale, one sticks, the other one pushes over as the hips disappear. And then you could really start to see that if you had imaginary strings coming out of your hips forward, that one hip line completely disappears. It just completely melts away. You can draw a hole in the space where your body was. And that's where an opponent is going to try to grab to latch onto something as they fall through. So you want to, and this is really great to stretch the legs too, because as you're turning, the toe points up, and you get this nice stretch on the back of the legs. Inhaling up. So it's a great way to warm up. This is something else that you can do in the corner as you're waiting, James, just to keep warm. to keep warm and to keep your techniques.
Yeah.
Really, really great stuff. And it's because it's not because you're standing up, it's not very taxing on the body. So it's kind of like a nice little jolt in between. So if you cycled like, hey, let's warm up the shoulders and the hips. And that's normally what we would do at every tournament. We'll do the warm up with the shoulders and the hips. With pushing on each other's shoulders and hips. Maybe we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 switch. And then going into maybe some Shaolin kicks just to get the blood flowing, and then go right into something soft again, and just cycling that so you can stay as nimble as possible in between these rounds without exerting too much energy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Don't lay down and take a nap. But
Dan would do that. Coach Dan,
Yeah.
literally, he'd sleep. We'd have trouble finding him.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Thanks for even like before we started, even just packing tips. Thanks for everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
You
Yeah,
know I'm excited.
I love you guys. I'm so happy that you guys you've done an amazing job. Like representing the US team so far. And I think that it's an awesome legacy to be a part of. And the fact that you guys are going out there and completing the circle is a really huge deal. And so I love you guys. I'm rooting for you, and please share videos and feel free to call me anytime, so showing people who I'm talking to.
Yeah, no, yes, respect for this like legacy, we've got like old school people who've got our bags. You're like also innovating. The past and future is coming together. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Well, just let me know how else I can be supportive from here.
I'll be in touch. Oh yeah. Okay.
I love you guys so much. Have an amazing trip. See you soon.
I'll tell you about it. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Shoot video.